All right. Hey guys, welcome to our not Monday night meeting. It's Friday tonight. So we have a really special guest with us. If you're in Dream Catchers, which is Samantha Cox's leg of the team, you have had the opportunity to meet Rebekah. And that's how I got to meet her, through watching a Facebook Live. And I'm not going to ruin it. She's amazing. But there are so many things that have happened in her life that could have, should have, would have stopped her completely and derailed her completely, but they didn't. And I can't say that like they didn't stop her. She didn't let them stop her. And so to me, what I took away from the live that I listened when I was watching you, Rebekah, is your mindset and the work that I know you've had to do. I think a lot of people are like, wow, that person's just positive or blah, blah, blah. It's work. Like it's work to be in a good mindset, an abundance mindset, and overcome things. So before I have you start talking, I would like to ask people that can, if you're driving, obviously don't, please start filling up the chat for me with your biggest limiting belief, maybe a negative comment that you hear yourself saying out loud or in your head over and over. Like start throwing out the things that you are constantly saying to yourself. Like I know everyone loves to call themselves a hot mess. And I hate that. I hate when people call themselves a hot mess a million times a day. Because if you speak it and believe in it, it's going to start happening. So what are some of those little things that you are letting slip all day, every day, all the I can'ts that you say to yourself? Start filling that up in the chat. And then again, as the Zoom is happening, if you come up with questions for Rebekah, pop them in the chat. And then if we have time, we will get to those. So Rebekah, I'm going to throw it to you. If you could just kind of start off with, before Thrive, how you found Thrive, like that kind of stuff, because obviously your before Thrive is where a lot of the things that happened to you that should have derailed you, that's where they're at. So take it away.
Okay. Hi guys. I'm Rebekah. I am a 40K leader. So she asked me to talk about overcoming fear through mindset. So we'll get to that. I'm going to tell you a little bit about Before Thrive. In May, I celebrated 2 years clean and sober. I spent 10 years in active IV drug use, alcoholism. When you think about addiction, I was there, at the very lowest point of my addiction. I was living in hotel rooms, in my car. I was showering at Planet Fitness towards the end. I didn't have my kids for 6 or 7 weeks. It was really the lowest point of my life. Going back even a little bit further, I come from a family of addicts. It runs in my genes. It is, as far back as I can really think, past my great grandparents, somebody has carried this generational curse with them. When I found Thrive, I had made the decision to rescue myself. I had made the decision to go to treatment. And I had about 5 months clean and sober at this time. But I was still just miserable. I had this recovery, which was amazing, but my body, I was sleeping 10, 12 hours a day, never felt rested, all the negative talk, all the self-doubt, all the fear, all the things. I was just in such a bad place. And unfortunately, my kids lived under that umbrella with me for a long time, so it wasn't just me that was affected by all of this. This was my kids too. So I actually joined Thrive as a customer at first. I did not want to be a part of network marketing. I had seen it done in the past. I was with another company very briefly in 2015. And it just didn't feel good to me. But the very first day that I tried these products, you guys, it makes me emotional because I feel like that was the day that really changed my life. I didn't know that there was anything out there that could make me feel the way that these products made me feel. Of course, there was still a lot of these products aren't going to fix everything in your life, right? They're not going to magically just fix everything. It's not the way it works. There was a lot of mindset stuff that I did have to work on, a lot of healing that I had to work on, a lot of things that I had to do. But when I tried these products, I had energy and I wasn't tired, and I was able to get up and play with my kids and be present with them and cook them breakfast and, you know, just be the mom that I really wanted to be, but was having such a hard time doing it because depression had completely taken me over. Let alone my body was completely depleted of absolutely everything it needed nutritionally. And I knew nothing about this then. I was just like, holy crap, this is great. Like, what's in this stuff? So by day 4, my kids were literally asking me like, who are you and what did you do with my mom? Our house was clean. We were playing, we were going out, we were playing at the parks. You know, they had like their mom back. You know, unfortunately, my youngest at the time, she hadn't really ever seen that mom because I was in addiction. You know, I didn't use while I was pregnant. I was at the methadone clinic and doing that thing while I was pregnant, but she really never got to see that mom, you know? So by day 4, I joined as a promoter, which is, I like to call when the work really started, because the products were amazing and they're life changing, and they still, to this day, I take them in the morning and they change my life every morning. I've lost 100 pounds on Thrive. I'm off all of my antidepressants and anxiety medications. And you guys, I was on a lot, like Adderall for ADHD, you know, Prozac, all the things. I was on them, and I'm completely medication free. But the work really began that day that I hit the promoter button. I had no idea what I was getting myself into. But this experience, the community, the products have completely changed my life. I had no idea what self-development was. Didn't know what an affirmation was. I didn't know what any of it was. And like I said, that's where the work really started. So really quickly, I like to do this with my team when I do trainings too. Can you guys just drop a couple I ams in the chat really quick? Because I feel like those have been something that have completely changed the way I think about myself. In the beginning, you know, I said these things, and I, in my mind, would say, you're a liar, you're not capable, but I would say it anyway. You're capable, you're worthy, you're enough. And my mind would be telling me, you're a liar. No, you're not. No, you're not. But you know what I continued to do? I continued to be consistent, speaking those things into life. I continued to be willing to speak nicely to myself. I hadn't done that, I don't think, ever, you know, coming from a childhood of trauma and then addiction and abuse and domestic violence, and the list really goes on and on and on. I didn't know how to speak nicely to myself. Everything that I thought about myself was unworthy, disgrace, junkie, bad mom. So I am's changed the way I thought about myself, changed the way I spoke to myself too. And like I said in the beginning, you guys, this wasn't something that came super easy. I would look in the mirror and I would cry. My kids thought I was freaking nuts, but I was determined. Everybody said that this worked. Everybody said your I ams and, you know, your gratitude journal and all these things work. So I was determined. And I think that is truly the key here. It's about getting determined to change the habits, the patterns, the self-talk, the limiting beliefs, because we all have them. We're human. The world has gotten to all of us. And it's really not about becoming. I know this is a little backwards from what we've heard. It's not really about becoming, right? Because we were born equipped. We were born enough. We were born with what we needed to fulfill our purpose here on earth. God gave us that at birth. But the world has put all of these layers on us. So it's really about getting back to who you were created to be. But that takes work, you guys, every single day. What does your morning routine look like? That is the first thing that you need to think about. If you are not doing a morning routine, you guys, that is where you're messing up. And if you're not doing a morning routine that fits your life and your needs, you're messing up there too. Because just because someone tells you you should be doing this, this, and this, doesn't mean that's what you need, right? My self-development changes depending on what I'm going through in my life circumstances. Sometimes I'm listening to sermons all morning, blasting Christian music in my house. Sometimes I'm listening to Eric Thomas screaming at me because I need to get my ass checked. Sometimes I'm sitting down with my Bible. Sometimes I'm, writing in my gratitude journal. Sometimes I'm brain dumping all of the self-doubt and limiting beliefs that I woke up with. It's almost like it's like autopilot. Like sometimes we just go right back to where we started, but the more and more you continue to do this stuff, the easier it is to get back to truth. The easier it is to get back to you and what your mission is. I think that's another big thing is like, I had to really get very clear on what my mission was here, what my mission was in my life, what my mission was for me and my family and my kids. Am I just here doing this thing, showing up on social media, being fancy and trying to be positive? Or what am I doing here? Am I here to really make a difference? Am I here to show women that they can literally come from any past and change their life? That's what I'm here to do. I had to sit down and think of bigger picture, not now, because we all know this isn't instant gratification what we do. And I think that's hard for some people because we get so used to those microwave results where things just happen. You're going to be disappointed if that's what you're here for. But I can tell you what, in 2 years, you guys, October, I'll be with Thrive for 2 years. In 2 years, I have learned more about myself, my purpose, what I'm capable of, what I'm here to do than I can ever imagine. Things have not happened quickly. I sat at 12K for 13 months, barely maintaining. Barely maintaining. But you know why I sat there at 13 months? Because I had work to do. I wasn't ready to be a 40K leader. This type of stuff, I would have never done. I would have allowed fear to shut me completely down. Just like some of you probably do with going live or showing your face on your stories. That like voice in your head that tells you you look stupid or you don't make sense or you don't know enough information about the products or you don't sound like this leader or that voice right there. I mean, my voice used to tell me, you're going to pass out, you're going to die, you're not going to make it through this. I mean, it was so dramatic. But in those moments, you guys, those moments are an opportunity to have breakthrough. And if we can change that perspective and we can look at fear as an opportunity to grow, an opportunity to take the next step. Every time something's a little bit scary and you do it, you're marching up that freaking mountain. You're just marching up that mountain. And if you're avoiding failure, I promise you, you're avoiding success. In my experience in this business and in life and in growth and all the things and being a mom and all the things, we can't learn unless we fail. How do we know what doesn't work for us unless we try and we fail, right? And that's truly the difference between a fixed mindset and a growth mindset. A fixed mindset is, oh, that's too hard, not going to do it. Tried that, failed, not meant for me. I'm going to go this way because it was just, that didn't work out. That didn't feel good. I didn't like it. And growth mindset is going to be where you see failure and you look for another opportunity to do it a different way. And that's everything in our life, guys, not just business. As a parent, as a wife, as a girlfriend, as a grandma, as an auntie, whatever, it does not matter. In everything, we need to, the switch for me, I think, I don't feel like there was like a moment though. I don't feel like there was a moment where I was like, okay, everything's just switched. I think that there were many moments where I made a decision to try again, to get up again, to be intentional about my thoughts, to be intentional about what I was allowing throughout my day and in my home, right? And it's not gonna happen overnight. It's gonna be those little days or those little moments throughout the day where you can catch that bad thought, bad feeling, anxiety, and nip it in the butt and own your truth in that moment, which is, it's probably not as bad as you think it is. You're gonna live. Hi, sir. My mailman. And you're gonna get through it. And the moment that you can start doing that, you guys, when you can start owning your truth and telling the devil, I don't know what everybody's religious preferences or whatever, but my personal is God. I know that when I'm hearing those things, when I'm hearing I'm not good enough, I'm not worthy, you're going to suck, you're going to fail, you can't do this. I know that that's the devil trying to catch me off guard and trying to throw me off, because what I'm doing is purpose. It's what I'm supposed to be doing, right? I feel like the more and more I hear that voice, the more and more it drives me, because I have recognized in my life and over time that when I do break through that, something amazing is happening on the other side of it. Whether that's, I get to inspire somebody. I just got goosebumps. Whether I get to inspire somebody, whether I get to make somebody smile. I had a girl message me this morning and was like, I have never heard of a gratitude journal in my entire life. This isn't a promoter. This is just someone who I'm connecting with and we're building a relationship. But you inspired me to go get a gratitude journal. I did it for 25 minutes this morning and I feel so good. And that's what it's about, right? It's about impacting other people's lives. Let me see what I have for my notes. I did write notes, you guys. I wrote a lot and haven't read anything on here yet.
While you're looking at your notes, I just want to, you can look, I just want to point out that I've written down, I don't know, 3, 5, 7 times, determined, make the decision, and intentional. And so I hope everyone is taking from this that someone didn't swoop in and say, hey, Rebekah, let's do this. Or, hey, maybe you should try this. Like, she decided to do it. She was determined to do it. And she's being intentional with what she allows into her brain and allows to come out of her mouth, honestly. And so that to me is like the most powerful part of all of this. Is too often we look for outside, everyone, and we're going to ask you before it's over, but everyone's, what's the book you read? What's the podcast? Like, who do you follow? We're always looking for somebody outside to tell us what to do or how to do it. And they're going to, but it's all in our head and our heart. And that's why I just love listening to you talk, because it's your head and your heart. You made the decision.
It's definitely true. But I think it's so important that we have to educate ourselves, because like I said, I didn't know any of this stuff until I did listen to a podcast. And I don't really read a book. I listen to Audible until I started listening to this stuff and, educating myself on these things. Right. But there's two sides to that coin. You can educate. But if you don't do what Tammy said and make that decision to put things in place, it doesn't matter. You could be a freaking professor in self-development and not do anything for your business and for your life. It's about taking the actions every single day. Let's not skip days, because if there isn't consistency, I'm not going to say that I do not have bad days, you guys, because I've been in a season over the past 6 weeks that has been hard. But because my mission is so much bigger than any hard day or hard season, I show up for my business no matter what. I show up for my team no matter what. It's not about me anymore. It's not about my bad day. It's not about this life. And I don't mean it to like mimic, because I know that we all go through things and things that are hard. That's life. Things that are happening to you in life are not special to you guys. We all have things. But what is your mission? How bad do you really freaking want to change your life? You have to ask yourself that question. And you guys, in the beginning, I had to ask myself that every day, because this was not solid yet. This wasn't bulletproof yet. How bad do you want this, Rebekah? Where do you want to be in 2 years, 5 years, 10 years? What do you want to do? What do you want your kids to see you doing? You have to ask yourself the hard questions, and you have to be willing to check yourself. It's not an easy thing to do, you guys, but it's worth it. If you can have the hard conversations with yourself, you guys, nothing will stand in your way. If you can hold yourself accountable and say, you know what? I did not do the things that I wanted to do for my business today. It was a hard day, but you know what? Tomorrow I'm on it. And you actually follow through. It's not about the hard days where we don't do what we want. It's about the get up. It's about, and how quick you're going to get up, how honest you're going to be with yourself about what you didn't do and what you're going to do. And then you do it. You do the things and you do what you said you were going to do, because I think that's one thing that we're really good at, you guys. I know I was really good at telling myself before I was going to go to bed, oh, tomorrow I'm going to get up and do my self-development, and I'm going to clean the entire house, and I'm going to go grocery shopping. I'm going to take my kids to the park, and I'm going to do IPAs all day and all these things. And then I would sit on the couch and, you know, kind of run my business and do a little bit of self-development and scream at my kids. And the whole day was gone. And I didn't do anything that I said I was going to do. You guys, that is the fastest way to chomp at your confidence, is to lie to yourself. You also have to keep these expectations. Don't put too much on your plate, but also don't let yourself just like skate away with the easiest day possible. You want to challenge yourself on a day-to-day basis. You want to do that. You want to challenge yourself, because that's what this is about. I'm constantly challenging myself, you guys, constantly. I've learned that over like saying, over committing myself puts me in fear and anxiety. But when I do those just 2 or 3 things that are maybe a little bit out of my comfort zone, a little bit more than what I really could do, that is when I grow. That is when I build my confidence. And that's really what this is about, you guys. It's about building our confidence on an every single day basis. When you get so clear on what you're doing and why you're here and who you're here to do it with. You have to get clear on that, you guys, and it takes work every single day. And it's okay. I had a thought and it just left my mind. Let me read some of these. Real quick. Was there any questions in here? I can't scroll.
I don't see any questions yet. There was some, let's see. I'll read you some of like from the very, very beginning where I asked people to talk about their limiting beliefs. Edie says, I don't fit in. I'm not liked. People think I'm trying to make a sale. Sandra says, I'm not good enough, but I've been busting out of my personal development and not stopping no matter what anyone thinks of me or what I was thinking of myself. Lisa says, my social media isn't good enough. I don't have what it takes to be successful in this business. So these are some of the limiting beliefs that people are throwing out there. The I ams are amazing. I am worth gold. I am beautiful. I am enough. I am worthy. I am powerful. I am capable. Like, I just love reading those out loud.
You guys, my biggest thing for not feeling like you fit in, not feeling like your social media is good enough, that's all comparison, because you are enough. It's all comparison. This is when you need to put your freaking blinders on and stop looking at everybody else to see how they do it. Do what feels right to you. And then guess what happens? When you're walking in you and owning who you are and being completely you, you attract your people to you. You don't have to fit in anywhere, because guess what? You have now attracted your tribe to you. Those are your people. But if you can't even get past the thought or the fear of what everybody else is saying about you, and you can't just focus on your mission, you're going to be attracting all kinds of weird people because it's not really who you are. You're not walking in you. And I remember a time when I had to do that too. I feel like it's kind of a season most of us go through, because I was looking at all these different leaders and trying to be like them and post like them and edit my pictures like them, which I think is important, but that's for another training. It's not necessary. You don't have to have a pretty freaking social media to be successful here. You don't. But what you do have to do to be successful here is be you. And I know you guys probably hear that all the time, but it's true. It's true.
So let me ask you really quickly, when you're in a point in your life where you're like, okay, I need to be me, but I don't like the me that I am, because that's where I think a lot of people are stuck. What would you tell them to do?
Well, you guys, when I first started in this business, I was living in a studio apartment. It was so ghetto, so embarrassing. There were mold everywhere. I had 5 months clean and sober when I started Thrive. So this was like the first apartment I could get out of treatment. And I was like, give it to me. But I was embarrassed of it. I didn't want to post that stuff on social media. I didn't like how I felt in there. But you know what I did? I got out of my house. Like I always say, this business saved my depression too, because I knew I didn't like the environment. I didn't like the circumstances in there. I didn't like the way it made me feel. I didn't like the way it made me think and limit myself, because this is what I saw. And it's hard not to do that, but you can. You can think bigger picture than your circumstances. It's a decision to do that, but you can do it. I would get out of my house. I would push myself to take my kids to the skating rink, to take my kids to the park, to take my kids hiking. Even though I hated hiking, I would still push myself to do these things outside of my comfort zone, because I did want to not only change me, but my circumstances. I couldn't just sit in the mud and think that I'm gonna like change. I had to get myself out. I had to do things that made me uncomfortable. Another thing is do you even know what you don't like about yourself? What is it that you don't like about yourself? Is it the way that you show up for your business? Is it the way that you talk to your kids? Is it the way you talk to your husband? Is it the way you talk to yourself? You guys, these are all things that you need to be writing down, because they're like in and out, in and out, in and out. Get it down on paper. You know what I did actually too? I'll share this with you guys. So last year, it was actually right around this time. It was last summer. I did that. I did absolutely that. Every single thing I didn't like about myself, every single limiting belief that I had, all of it, all the fears, all of that stuff. I wrote it all down. We went to a really beautiful waterfall up in Eastern Washington, and I literally threw it off the biggest waterfall up there. I threw it away. And I'm not going to say that that just magically makes it disappear, you guys, but the more you start releasing this stuff, the more you start calling this stuff out as lies. If you don't like something about yourself, honey, you have got to change it. No one is going to do it for you. And it's going to take work. It's going to take a lot of work. Every single day, you guys. The work is never done on us. It shouldn't be, though, because we should always be changing. We should always be pushing to be the best, better version of ourselves. Single mom, 15 years sober, back to college for third time, and my home makes me feel the same way. I've worked so hard to own an acre of land, build on some, hate the trailer I live in, cringe when I. Okay, so what are you doing about that circumstance right now? Are you yeah, you record outside. I used to do that too. So are you allowing, let me ask you a question, and you don't have to answer this out loud. Are you allowing that to hold you back and be your excuse? Or are you making it your why? Because I think a lot of times we do that too. And I know I'm kind of all over the place right now. That's my why. That's my girl. Good job. Because a lot of times we allow these excuses. My kids are bad. My husband doesn't support me. My house isn't where I want it to be. My place is a dump. My car doesn't run. I have to work all the time. All these things that we just throw out there and just feed it to the world and we just ride on that excuse. You guys, this is our why. I think shifting all of that and telling yourself, my house is a dump. That's why I need to work my business. That's why I need to grow myself. That's why I need to be committed and dedicated and choose every single day to show up for myself and my business. When you can flip it around and make it your why instead of your excuse, I feel like that was another thing that changes, but it doesn't happen overnight. It happens with practice. And we practice by, I think this is what I told my team a while ago. Some of us have a lot of stuff we got to work on. That was me. Okay. Still once in a while I go through those phases where I'm like, whoa, things are crazy. I have a lot of stuff I need to do. Pick three things that you want to work on. Whether that's okay, I'll just share mine. I'll be vulnerable and share mine. The way that I talk to my kids. This is something that we've grown through over the last 2 months or so, but this was mine. The way I talk to my kids. I felt like the way that I talked to my kids was constantly frustration, impatience, irritability, and it didn't feel right. And it kind of leaked out all over my business too, because I wasn't taking care of that. Because that's the thing, guys, is it's all connected, right? Everything is connected to our business, because how we're taking care of and how we're stewarding all the things in our life is gonna leak into our business. So I picked that thing, and I was so intentional about it for about 3 weeks. I sat my kids down and I said, okay, I don't like the way I'm talking to you guys. And everybody was talking like this because I'm the leader of the house. And so everybody's talking impatiently. Everybody's frustrated. Everybody's feeling this way. And I said, we are going to, when somebody is saying something out of frustration or anger or yelling something, we're going to say tone, mom, tone Presley. And you know what? Do you know how much that changed my attitude, the energy in my house? Pick 1, 2, 3 things, you guys. Go and do some research. Go Google it you can literally Google anything. Go Google it, get some ideas for whatever it is. If it's a limiting belief thing that you're going through right now, go Google limiting beliefs on Google, you guys. I've done it before. There's all kinds of things that you can find on there to help you with this. Worksheets, books, podcasts, but be intentional about doing that work, because no one's going to just say, here you go. So pick 1 or 2 or 3 things, whatever it is. If it's fear, I'm going to tell you right now, the only way to get through fear is to do the thing. False evidence appearing real. It's not real, guys. I mean, it feels real, right? Like it feels real, but it's not real. It's what we've constricted ourselves to thinking we can do. What are you saying to yourself before you do the thing that scares you? I know I already said this, but I think that that's something that we all really have to focus on. What are you speaking into your life? What are you speaking into that fear? Are you giving it? What you feed will grow. Instead of saying, I'm scared of doing that, how about you say, I'm scared of this, but I know I'm going to get through it. Do you see how that can just change? I mean, even changing your body language can change the way you feel about fear and what you're about to do.
So really quick, Rebekah, I know before you spoke on Samantha's team page live, you were nervous. And I know that when you and I were going back and forth about setting this up, you were nervous, you were scared. So what did you say to yourself today before we got on here?
Well, the thought definitely crossed my mind that I broke my leg and that I couldn't do this. But then I was like, excuse me. I had to like check that thought, because it's literally just there to try to hold me back. And there is no way I have already made it up in my mind that I'm going to do whatever it takes to make this work, to get to 200K, to help my team. You know, I want my goal by the end of the year is to have 15 bonus earners on my team. I have already made up my mind. So there is literally nothing at this point in my life that can stop me from doing what I came here to do. There's nothing, not a fear, not the Zoom where I'm literally sweating in every single place you can imagine, like nothing. And I know too from experience that the more we do the things that scare us, the less scarier it gets, right? The less scarier it gets. So I absolutely love you guys. Did you have any questions, Tammy?
I'm not seeing questions, just tons of love. I hope you can read all these comments because I know like I'm recording it, but the comments don't stay. And you, if somebody, can somebody take a picture of the comments or screenshot the comments from your phone so we can send them to her? Because I would love for her to get to see them all. And I don't think I can take a picture of my computer without it being like the wavy thing. Okay, so the one thing I do, I'm going to ask you, I know you said your morning routine kind of changes, but is there something that you like, so back to what I was saying, like a book, a podcast, is there one that when you're having the crappiest of crappy days and you're like, I don't even want to get out of bed. What are you like, if I do this, it'll work?
For me, it kind of changes in the sense of like what I do for self-development, but it's always the same. I get up 2 hours before my kids, no matter what. You know, I mean, there's days where I give myself some grace and I can sleep in a little bit, but I get up before my kids, no matter what. Like this mama needs all that time to spend on myself. I need to get self-centered before I do anything else in my life, or it's just not good for anyone. So on really, really tough days, for me, it's God, it's prayer, it's meditation, it's listening to a sermon, it's watching a sermon, it's dancing around my kitchen to Christian R&B and rap. You know, it's just getting my vibe higher. Like we have to remember, you guys, even on the toughest days, we are in control of our attitude and our minds. We're in control of that. You have a decision. What is the thing that makes you happy? What is the thing? Are you sitting in your car listening to music, driving? I know that's me. Like it's music 100% for me. Find the thing that makes you happy and do that. What is it that raises your vibe on those bad days? I challenge you guys to, next time you're having a bad day, and this is something I've personally done too, the next time you're having that bad day, go stand in the mirror and smile at yourself. Just smile, and don't stop until you laugh, because you will, I promise. So.
No, I love that. So you just made me think of something that I heard, I think it was just last week. Like a lot of times when people are down, they're like, I'm down, I can't get out of it, I'm in a funk, you know, yada, yada. So if you think about a radio and all the different radio stations, those are all just different frequencies that are in the air. They're in the air right now. They are next to me. They're going through me right now. They're going through you. And all we do is we tune the radio to pick which one we want. And so your body is literally the same way. Your mind and body, all of the happy vibes are running all around you and all the shitty vibes are running around you. And it's what you decide to tune into. And I just thought that was so interesting because all of those frequencies have always been here. We just didn't know how to access them, but now we do. And so we have radios and cell phones and everything, you know, way beyond that. But it's so true. When you're down or grumpy or mad, you are the only person who can flip the switch to a different frequency. And it's there if you want it. It's right there. It's all around you. It's in you. I don't know. And you are like high vibe. Like, I feel like I'm going to save this recording, and anytime I'm having a shitty day, I'm going to put this on because this will be like my high frequency for me. And I know everyone appreciates it so much. I'm super, super appreciative because I know this was a weird time for you. And I'm thank you for not rescheduling. It worked out so good. I love the people that were on. I know this has meant the world to everybody. Hopefully someone has taken screenshots of the comments for me so we can share them with her. I'm going to say this to everyone watching. She is amazing. And yes, you can go follow her. Please don't try to be her or copy her. Do you, okay? Be inspired by the fact that she is not perfect. And that's what makes you love her. All of you felt, and I'm just assuming this because it was for me too. All of you fell in love with Rebekah in the first 5 minutes because she was so honest and open about who she is and what she's been through. You didn't love her because she got on here and had perfect hair, perfect nails, and perfect makeup, although she totally does now. But that's not why you fell in love with her. You fell in love with her because she was honest and open about who she was, where she's been, and where she wants to go. And if you are wanting to attract people, including yourself, you got to be honest about who you are, where you come from, and where you want to go. So I hope this helped everybody. I know I'll be on cloud nine for the rest of the day and half of tomorrow. So thank you. And I will put this, I always put all of our Zooms on my YouTube channel. So you'll be able to share this with your team also, Rebekah, for anybody that, needs it and anytime you go back. So thank you.
You're so welcome. Thank you guys.
Bye.
Bye.